There are 10 foods sitting on store shelves right now. Cheap that won't stay cheap much longer. And no, this has nothing to do with some doomsday. It's weather. It's tariffs. It's supply chains already cracking at the seams. The folks who quietly grab these while they're still affordable, they're gonna look real smart about a year from now. The ones who wait are gonna pay double, if they can even find them. I'm Cole Hardin, 8 years in the Army, and better than 20 after that teaching preparedness out of the Appalachian backcountry, where the nearest store sat an hour off and the shelves went thin every winter. So let me be real clear about what this is, and what it ain't. I'm not here to tell you the sky is falling. I'm telling you the prices on these 10 things are already climbing. The harvests behind them are already short. And the smart move is to buy a little extra now, at today's price before today's price becomes tomorrow's. Now maybe you're thinking, Cole, money's tight, I can't go stocking up a wall of food. Good. I'm not asking you to. Most of this runs a few dollars, and you buy one extra unit at a time on trips you're already making. Or maybe your pantry's already full and you figure you're set. Stick around anyway. Half this list comes from 1 or 2 countries clear on the other side of the planet. And no pantry in America runs deep on those. Growing up, I watched my grandmother run her pantry like a bank. Every grocery trip she'd buy 1 or 2 extra of whatever was cheap that week, and tuck it on the back shelf. Nothing dramatic. No hauling. Just a habit. And when that ice storm knocked the power out for 9 days, and the one store in town went bare by the afternoon, our family ate like nothing had happened. The neighbors who shopped week to week, no cushion, they didn't. That's the whole lesson. It's not hoarding, it's staying a trip or two ahead of trouble. Not fear, foresight. Number 1. Coffee. If you drink it, act on this today. Almost all of it grows in a narrow band near the equator, and the 2 countries that grow most of it, Brazil and Vietnam, have both been hammered by drought and heat the last couple seasons. When their harvest comes up short, the whole world feels it. There's no backup farm sitting in Ohio. Wholesale coffee's already hit highs we haven't seen in near 50 years. Good news though. Sealed, unopened coffee keeps beautifully. Vacuum-sealed whole beans or a sealed can of grounds will hold flavor a year or 2. Easy, and instant coffee in a sealed jar goes even longer. Years past the date if kept cool and dry. Buy whole bean if you can, and stash a couple jars of instant as your deep backup. 5-6 pounds tucked away buys a whole year of mornings at today's price. Number 2. Cooking oil. This is the quiet one nobody thinks about until it's $8 a bottle. A huge share of the world's vegetable oil comes from just a handful of places, and any one of them having a bad year, a drought, an export ban, a shipping snarl, sends the price of all of it up. We watched it spike once already, and the same pressures are still sitting right there. Cooking oil is also pure survival calories, the most concentrated energy you can store, right around 4,000 calories a quart. An unopened bottle keeps a year, maybe 2, in a cool dark cabinet. Want it longer? Coconut oil and a sealed can of shortening will last years without turning. Just keep it out of heat and light. That's what turns oil rancid. Grab a few extra bottles next trip. Number 3. Rice. Rice feeds half the planet, and that's exactly why it's fragile. A few big growing countries supply the world, and when one gets nervous and slaps an export ban on to protect its own people, the global supply tightens overnight. We've already seen that move, and it can happen again off one bad monsoon. But rice is the king of cheap long storage. White rice, not brown, stored right, will last you 25 to 30 years. Brown rice has oils in it that go rancid in months. So skip it for storage. Keep white rice in a sealed food-grade bucket with an oxygen absorber, somewhere cool and dry. And you've got a wall of meals for pennies a serving. A 20-pound bag runs a few bucks. Number 4. Canned meat. Protein's the hardest thing to store and the first thing you'll miss. Canned meat solves it. Tuna, chicken, Spam, Vienna sausages. The reason to buy now is simple. The cost of the meat, the can, and the fuel to ship it are all climbing at once, so that price only goes one way. Most of it's good 3 to 5 years, and honestly, kept cool well past the date long as the can's solid. The rule that matters, though, Never eat from a can that's bulging, leaking, or rusted through. A good can is a safe can. Buy a few of each kind your family will actually eat. Rotate the oldest to the front, and you've solved protein. No freezer. Not a single watt of power. Number 5. Wheat and flour. Bread is civilization, and the wheat behind it grows in a few big regions that have taken it on the chin from drought and conflict both lately. When those bread baskets stumble, flour prices follow right behind. Here's the catch. The raw grain and the finished flour part ways hard on storage. Regular white flour off the shelf only lasts about a year. The oils in it go off. But whole wheat berries, the actual grain sealed in a bucket with an oxygen absorber, will last you 25-30 years. Grind them into fresh flour when you need it with a hand mill. If grinding ain't your thing, store all-purpose flour in the freezer to stretch it a couple years, and keep some hard red wheat berries back as your deep reserve. Number 6. Sugar. Sugar does two jobs. It keeps morale up when times are hard, and it's a preservative. You need it for canning, for jams, for putting food by. The supply's shaky right now. The big producers have been swinging between drought and flood, and prices jumped. But here's the beautiful part. Sugar, kept dry, lasts basically forever. White granulated, brown sugar, honey, none of it spoils. The only enemy is moisture. That turns it into a brick. Store it in an airtight container, and skip the oxygen absorber. That actually makes sugar go hard. And honey, that's the real gem. Sealed honey's been found in tombs thousands of years old, and it was still good to eat. A few bags of sugar and a couple jars of honey is a forever investment. Number 7. Salt and spices. People forget salt until they're rationing it, then it hits them. It's the single most important seasoning and preservative we've got. You need it to cure meat, make bland survival food edible, and your body flat can't run without it. Your spices that come from overseas, pepper, cinnamon, garlic powder, ride the same fragile shipping lanes that get expensive in a hurry. Plain salt lasts forever. It's a mineral, doesn't expire. Buy it by the big box and never think about it again. Dried spices don't spoil either. They just slowly lose their punch. So keep them sealed away from heat and light. A well-stocked spice shelf is what turns plain rice and beans into a meal your family eats instead of just chokes down. Cheap now, priceless later. Number 8. Chocolate and cocoa. This one surprises people, but cocoa prices have gone vertical. Almost all the world's cocoa grows in just 2 West African countries, and disease and bad weather wrecked their crops, sending prices to all-time records. Chocolate's turning into a real luxury, and it's not coming back down anytime soon. So why stock a treat? Because morale is survival. When everything's gone sideways, a square of chocolate does something for your people. A bowl of beans never will. Cocoa powder in a sealed container lasts a couple years, easy, and solid dark chocolate kept cool holds up a year or more. That white bloom you sometimes see on the surface, that's just the fat, still fine to eat. Tuck a few bars and a tub of cocoa powder away. Number 9. Olive oil. I'm calling this out separate from cooking oil because its story is worse. Olive harvests around the Mediterranean got crushed by record heat and drought 2 years running, and prices doubled, some places tripled. There were even reports of olive oil getting stolen right off the trucks. Here's the honest catch, though. Olive oil doesn't store as long as people think. It's good about 18 months to 2 years from when it was bottled, then it slowly turns. So don't buy a case to last a decade. Buy what your family runs through in a year or two. Go for dark glass bottles or tins, because light is the enemy. Keep it cool and sealed, and rotate it. Number 10. Orange juice and concentrate. Last one, and it's a sleeper. Florida's orange groves got hit by a citrus disease and a run of hurricanes, and the crops fallen to lows we haven't seen in generations. Brazil, the other big supplier, has had its own drought troubles. Juice prices set records. And vitamin C matters more than you'd think, because fresh produce is the first thing to vanish in any shortage. Fresh juice won't keep, but the concentrate will. Frozen concentrate stores in the freezer about a year, and shelf-stable cartons or bottles keep several months to a year in the pantry. Even better for the long haul, powdered drink mixes with vitamin C added, plus a bottle of plain vitamin C tablets. Those store for years and cover the same gap for pennies. Now the bonus, the easiest, cheapest win on this whole list. Dried beans and lentils. I saved them for the bonus, because they're the cheapest serious calories and protein you can buy. Flat out, pennies a serving, sold everywhere, and they store for years. Sealed in a bucket with an oxygen absorber. Dried beans last 10 years, longer even. One honest tip, the older dried beans get, the longer they take to soften up when you cook them. So the real old ones want a good long soak. That's the only catch, and it's a small one. Pair your beans with your rice from earlier and you've got a complete protein, a full meal, for next to nothing. If you do one thing after this video, grab an extra bag of rice and an extra bag of beans on your next trip. That right there is the whole foundation. So there's your list. Coffee, cooking oil, rice, canned meat, wheat, sugar, salt and spices, chocolate, olive oil and orange juice, plus your bean and rice foundation underneath it all. None of this is panic buying. It's buying a little ahead of the price, on trips you're already making, the way folks used to do without thinking twice about it. Being ready isn't fear. It's just not getting caught off guard. The folks who prepare quiet are the ones who stay calm when everybody else is losing their heads. You don't need a bunker. You don't need to empty your wallet. You need one extra item in the cart this week, and then again next week. If this was useful, do one thing for me. Send it to one person you'd want beside you, making it through a crisis, the friend or family member who'd be glad you thought of them. Then subscribe. Next time I'm walking you through the foods that vanish off the shelves first, when a crisis actually hits. And trust me, you'll want that list before the rush starts. Take care of your people. I'll see you on the next one.